Hi, I'm Alice Brown, and this is Lab 4 for Geography 103. Today we're going to be going to Goldstream River. Goldstream River resides on the traditional land of the Coast Salish, Wasanech people, Tormuk people, Lekwungen people, and the Songhai people. Goldstream Provincial Park is located a 21-minute drive from the University of Victoria. Okay, well here we are at Goldstream River. Goldstream River originates in Burchard Lake in the Sauk Hills and is part of the Goldstream Water Supply Area, which is the secondary water supply area for Victoria. So it is used when the primary water supply area is under maintenance, which is usually about a week a year, or is there in case of emergency. Here you can see one of the things Goldstream is most famous for, its annual salmon run, where the salmon return to the place they were born to lay their eggs before they die. This happens every fall. This map indicates the origins of Goldstream River, which is Burchard Lake. It flows from Burchard Lake to Lube Lake to Goldstream Reservoir, where it is then released into several tributary streams, which later form Goldstream River. This map shows Goldstream River at the point we examined it. Here you can see 3 tributary streams which feed into Goldstream River. Each of these streams are defined by nick points, which we'll talk about later. The Köppen-Geiger climate classification for the Goldstream River area is CSB, meaning that the coldest month averages above 0 and the warmest month below 22 degrees. And the wettest months having 3 times the precipitation of the driest. The effects on discharge are complicated. Discharge is altered greatly in this river due to human interaction in the reservoirs. Water in the reservoirs is released periodically in summer to mean that there's enough water for the annual salmon run to preserve the salmon being able to swim upstream. This discharge rise in the fall is not so much related to the climate classification as human interaction. These maps are topographical maps of the area surrounding Goldstream River. In this first map, you can see the origin of Goldstream River up in the left-hand corner with Burchard Lake. Here you can see that the river is at a higher elevation. In this second map, we see the river from where I examined it. Here, the river runs in between 2 areas of high topography and elevation, but along a generally flat zone. As shown on the topographical map, the area around here is quite flat. You can see that will cause 2 of the 3 geographical features that we are going to look at today. Like we talked about, Goldstream River has relatively flat topography. On either side, it is surrounded by areas of higher elevation, with the Sauk Hills on one side and Finlayson Mountain on the other. This results in a valley forming along between the two. And the river flows through the central area at an area of flat topography. This is one of the reasons that causes the river to meander. The river meanders as it erodes differently throughout the area, proceeding down towards the ocean. You do not see meandering on the river up when it's in the higher elevation in the Sauk Hills where it originates, but along this area that we're at here, you can see the meandering. The discharge and topography affect river form and function in many ways. The discharge is released periodically to help the salmon run, which helps the local environment in the community, as the salmon run is a vital part of culture. The topography allows the higher elevations to feed into the river at the point where we examined it. The tributary streams all join Goldstream River around this area, as well as the unconfined aquifer that we looked at before. This allows for a higher volume and velocity of water at this part of the stream. Don't film me filming. We are at one of the nick points that feeds into Goldstream River, Niagara Falls. It is named after the much more famous Niagara Falls in Ontario in the US. It is named after it because it is roughly the same height as Niagara Falls in Ontario in the US. However, the obvious difference is the volume of discharge that occurs is greater in the one in Ontario and the US. However, you can tell that it is very high due to the topography all around. as you can see, all around the stream that runs down the middle is much higher. So the sudden change in topography causes this midpoint as the water flows down and then joins the stream. Here behind us we have our third and final geographic feature, an alluvion. As you can see, there's been deposits of fertile clay and soil along here that wasn't present at the other areas of the river, and you can tell because of all the things that are growing, the grass that is growing out here. So Aquifer 684 is recharged through runoff and precipitation in the uplands. It's an unconfined aquifer. And it affects both form and function of the river. The form of the river is affected through the alluvion we see here, and the function because it adds more water to the river, but it adds it pretty close to where the river feeds into the ocean, since we are right next here to Finlayson Arm at the base of the river. In conclusion, Goldstream is a beautiful river and an important part of the community. It affects the local ecology and environment in many different ways, and in turn is affected by the topography, climate zone, and many other factors, all of which show how the river works together as both a part of and moving force in the environmental systems.